Week 3 was an absolutely crazy week, man. And I know a lot of you are upset. I know a lot of you suffered. I know a lot of you caught a bad break. Don't worry though. It's week 4 time. It's time to turn it around. It's time to make some money. Welcome, football fans, gridiron gamblers, to your early week 4 best bets. I'm going to go through the games, the spreads, the totals that stand out to me early in week 4. Maybe some lines that you should jump on right away. Let's go. Let's turn it around. Let's have a bounce back week here on Money Mitch. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe for weekly NFL best bets, spread picks, fantasy football, and everything in between. Get in the comments and let me know which game interests you the most. Okay, let's break it down. Beginning with, first of all, the Houston Texans are laying 6.5 points against an NFL team. Are you trying to convince me that the Houston Texans can beat an NFL team by 6.5 points, essentially 7 points? That's what you're telling me right now. I'm not buying it. Maybe the Tennessee Titans are not an NFL team. Maybe they play in the CFL. Maybe they're a college football squad. That potentially is out for an argument, okay? But I don't care. I don't care who it is. I don't care who's the quarterback, who the coach is. I have to take 6.5 points with the Tennessee Titans. I have to do it. You know the way that you bounce back from a bad week? You take lines that are simply egregious. You take terrible football teams. That's what you do. The Tennessee Titans stink. They're horrible. But they are a division foe of the Houston Texans. And if there is an offense worse than the Tennessee Titans, it's the Houston Texans. It is. CJ Stroud right now is probably the most overrated quarterback in football. They still have the worst offensive line in football. Cam Ward can still make some plays down the field. He's going to be able to make some plays. Tony Pollard and the Titans can run the ball. The Colts are way better right now than the Texans. I know the Colts, they layeth the smack-a-downeth on the Tennessee Titans. But the Texans can't score points. The total is 39.5, and you're getting 6.5 in a divisional game. I mean, how do you not take this, bro? The Titans, I know they lost to Devondre Sweat. I know they don't have a great pass rush. But the Texans are a mess. They're a disaster. How do you not take this? That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. The Texans can't score points. The only real touchdown they scored was wide open Nico Collins. Jacksonville just forgot to cover him. Next, the Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, I told you to take the Patriots last week, and I was 100% right. I know they lost. They lost me money. They lost you money. But if you watch that game, you would realize one thing. The Steelers suck. The Patriots turned the ball over 5 times. 5. 4 times in Pittsburgh territory, twice inside Pittsburgh's 2-yard line, and they lost by 7. The Patriots should have beat the Steelers by 2 to 3 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers had like 1 yard between quarters 2 and 3. It was embarrassing. They stunk on offense. Their entire offense is screens. They have no vertical game. They have limited receivers. They can't run the ball. And I get it. It's Carson Wentz, and people want to fade Carson Wentz. But he barely had to do anything against the Bengals. The Vikings defense is going to dominate Aaron Rodgers. They're going to dominate the Steelers' offensive line. The Steelers won't be able to run the ball against the Vikings. The Vikings are getting healthier on defense. We saw that last week. Both these teams are reliant a little bit on turnovers. But the Vikings are so much better in terms of their coaching, especially on offense right now. I mean, Kevin O'Connell can coach a bad quarterback. The Steelers feel unfixable on offense right now. Jordan Mason looks fantastic. The Steelers are having trouble stopping the run. They were a bit better against the Patriots, but they allowed 100-yard rushers, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. Jordan Mason had what, like 150 yards, 140 yards against Cincinnati? I think the Vikings will be able to run the ball. I don't think that the Steelers can cover Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison returns in this game. Huge factor. How much worse is Carson Wentz than J.J. McCarthy? If at all? I don't know. Christian Darrisaw returning makes them a workable offensive line. And it's Brian Flores who sends blitzes from every angle against a quarterback who doesn't want to get hit. I mean, the Steelers are bad. This is an outright fate of the Steelers. I don't think the Vikings are some spectacular team. And this is obviously in a neutral site, a neutral venue. We saw the Vikings play Aaron Rodgers in a neutral site last year. They beat them. They smoked them. Because Aaron Rodgers turned it over, saw some pressure, and threw it to the defense. It's going to happen again. I'm telling you right now. It's going to happen again. That Vikings defense is building confidence. The Steelers actually suck. Fade them beating the Patriots because they shouldn't have beat the Patriots. It should have been a blowout by the Patriots. Take the Vikings. I'm just telling you right now. Take the Vikings -2.5. Next, take the Patriots -5.5. This is a perfect bounce back spot for the Patriots. The line does seem rather large for a Patriots team that isn't exactly great, right? Nobody has them in the top 15 of their power rankings, that's for sure. But the Panthers just won a game 30-0. And the Patriots just lost a game they should have won by 2 touchdowns. This is just very obvious. The Patriots play at home. They've lost their first 2 home games. I don't think they're going to lose 3 in a row. Mike Vrabel has the perfect film to break down and dissect and get after his team this entire week. The Patriots are more talented than the Panthers. The Patriots have a better quarterback than the Panthers. The Patriots might get their best player back this week, Christian Gonzalez, who is this close to playing against the Steelers. He practiced all week in limited capacity, and they didn't play him. But it's likely they play him this week. And the only real competent threat offensively for the Panthers, other than their running game, which is fairly average, is T-Mac. If Gonzo takes T-Mac out of the game, Bryce Young is fried. They literally have nothing else. Nothing. And the Panthers, they played at home, they played well. The other games on the road have not looked the same from a pass protection standpoint. They've gotten behind early in the game. The Patriots, before last week, led the NFL in sacks in the first 2 games with 9. They've had a really good pass rush. Like, Harold Landry's played well. Milton Williams has played exceptionally well. And Carolina has a very weak interior offensive line right now. They have multiple injuries on their offensive line. Barmore, Milton Williams will take advantage. The Patriots defense is getting better. Like last week, they looked pretty dominant for phases and stretches and quarters of that game against Pittsburgh. And Bryce Young, he didn't have to do anything last week against Atlanta. Michael Penix lost that game. Drake May, he's been playing really well this year. 5 turnovers. You're not going to win a game with 5 turnovers, 3 fumbles. Stevenson put it on the turf twice. He's probably not going to see the field as much. I think the Patriots win this game running away because I think they're going to get an early lead. I think they're going to rush Bryce Young into mistakes, and they have been a solid run defense in all 3 games. I don't think Carolina's simply going to be able to run the ball all over them. So this is a huge spot for the Patriots. Huge spot, huge bounce back spot, huge get right spot for the team. And for Carolina, they suck. They're not a good team. They beat the Falcons 30-0. That's going to be their win of the season. They're going to come back down to earth, take the Patriots. They'll win by at least a touchdown at home. Next, the Chargers at the Giants. Chargers are favored by 6.5. So let me put it in simple terms. The Chargers are 3-0. The Chargers in week 1 in Brazil, neutral site, hammered the Chiefs. Hammered. Beat them by multiple touchdowns, multiple scores, double digits. The Chiefs went to New York on Sunday Night Football, barely, sort of. It was very ugly, right? Like, the Giants could have covered that game numerous times, okay? But they still covered 6.5. And remember this, they were laying 6.5 on the road on prime time against the Giants. So what you're telling me here is that the decimated, no good Chief offense and Chiefs team that isn't that great, that lost to the Chargers by double digits, is laying the same number as the Chargers. This is simple, right? You take the Chargers under a touchdown. Like, I get it. The Chargers have won 3 big games in a row. They've had a lot of travel early in the year. They have to go from west back to the east. And I think maybe even the greater play here is the under. There certainly are concerns about the Chargers' offensive line. But has anyone watched Justin Herbert play this year? And has anyone watched Russell Wilson play this year? And has anyone watched the Chargers' defense play this year? Like, the Chargers' defense is spectacular. Russell Wilson in the red zone is a disaster. Even if the Giants move the football, they're going to kick field goals constantly. And you know he's going to just throw the ball up to the other team. He does it at least once a week. I think this could be a Hampton coming out party. The Chargers established the run on the road. I love how Quentin Johnston is playing. Ladd McConkey is due to get going against a very bad secondary. This is also the worst secondary the Chargers have played. The Giants' secondary is atrocious. No wonder they can't get to the quarterback because they don't have enough time because the secondary can't cover anybody. I'm taking Justin Herbert. I'm taking the Chargers here because they've proven to be better than the Chiefs. And the Chiefs were laying the same damn number as this team in the same spot, except it's not in prime time. So give me the Chargers. Next, fade the Chiefs. Take the Baltimore Ravens -2.5 at Kansas City. The Chiefs are not a good team. They're not a good football team. Patrick Mahomes is the most overrated player in football right now, not named CJ Stroud. Patrick Mahomes is inaccurate right now. Like, their receiving core is a disaster. Tyquan Thornton, sure, he can run fast. I mean, come on. Really? Like, so Baltimore -2.5. They're in a different class than the Chiefs right now. I know this game's in Arrowhead. I know that's intimidating. But Baltimore, they've got an offense that is elite. They have an offense. They can run the ball on you. They can throw the ball on you. You have to contain Lamar Jackson. Isaiah Likely could be back next week. Zay Flowers is a one-on-one man-beating machine. And honestly, the Chiefs' pass rush isn't that great. Lamar should have time here. I think the Chiefs are going to be challenged in a way defensively that they haven't been challenged all year. They looked great on defense against Russell Wilson. But what will they look like against Lamar Jackson? I still think that the Ravens are going to be able to score 24 to 35 points in that range, which means that the Chiefs have to keep up. And they have no running game. They're one-dimensional. The Ravens could play man coverage against the Chiefs all game with this secondary. And, I mean, Marlon Humphrey and or Kyle Hamilton can lock up Travis Kelce all day long. I think they're resting guys like Kyle Van Noy and Matabike on Monday night so that they can play them against the Chiefs because they understand how big that game is. The Ravens are just so explosive that the Chiefs will not be able to keep up. Spags could have, he has to have, like, the best game of the year. Like, he has to game plan the utter mess out of this game, okay? Like, I'm trying to find a good word for that. But, like, this could not be competitive. Like, I understand it's in Arrowhead. The Chiefs are not a good team right now. They're not a good team. They have flaws on the offensive line. They have flaws at receiver. They're slow other than Tyquan Thornton. The quarterback's not playing that well. They have no rhythm. Their defense is playing good against bad offenses, but not against good offenses. Like, I love the Ravens here. I think they bully them. Next, the Chicago Bears, the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm fading the idea that Caleb is good now. That's what I'm fading here. I'm going to take the Raiders. I think the general theme of this week is to fade the narratives from week 3. I like the Raiders at home getting 1.5. The Raiders got absolutely hammered by the Commanders. One thing about that game is Marcus Mariota versus Jaden Daniels, it's actually not as big of a difference as people think. It's actually proven to be not a big difference when both of them have played in games. I'm just going to throw that out there. The Commanders are a pretty good team too, and they've got a pretty dynamic overall team. The Raiders are back at home. They've lost a couple games where they've seen them get blown out against the Commanders. They saw them lose at home against a really good Chargers team on prime time. Geno didn't play well. Chicago's defense to me is still a disaster. I know they didn't allow a lot of points against Dallas, but that was a CeeDee Lamb-less offense of the Cowboys. The Cowboys still moved the ball well. They just didn't score in the red zone. They threw picks in the red zone. They seemed like really rattled because their defense can't get any stops. Chicago's going to play an actual NFL defense in this game. They're going to play a team that can really stop the run in the Raiders. The only real run they allowed was a really fluky run, to be honest, by McNichols, where he bounced off 3 different tacklers and he ran for 60 yards. Like, the Raiders have been really good against the run this year. They're going to pack the box. They're going to force Caleb to throw deep. The Raiders defense, I just feel like, is well coached. They're going to be motivated. They're going to be at home. This is Pete Carroll. Geno Smith is still the better quarterback in this game for me. I know that the Raiders offense has been a little one-dimensional, but Geno, I feel like against this secondary that's had injuries to Jalen Johnson, injuries to Kyler Gordon, injuries to their linebacker core, their best linebacker, TJ Edwards. A lot of linebackers, a lot of corners that are injured for the Bears. They have injuries across their defense. I think that the Raiders take advantage. I think the Raiders win this game. I think this is one of those spots where these teams are very close. In fact, I think I have the Raiders rated ahead of the Bears. It's pretty close, but I would take the home team in a bounce-back game after the Bears are going to be all living it up after they beat Dallas, the worst defense in football, and Caleb looked like Dan Marino in 1984. So I'm going to take the Raiders. Next, I'm going to take the Packers against Dallas. Dallas's defense is truly that bad. They're truly that bad. And the Packers offense, I think, is a bit overrated. Like, their skill positions, their wide receivers certainly showed up in a way where they were dominated by Cleveland. Cleveland also has a stellar defense, and playing in Cleveland is not an easy thing to do. And that was like the warning sign game of the week. Like, nobody should have put that in Survivor. Like, I'm just telling you that right now. This is going to be the opposite, where the Packers defense has played great in all 3 games. They've dominated all 3 matchups. They've dominated offenses that are superior to Dallas's so far this year. They dominated Detroit. They dominated Washington. Dallas doesn't have CeeDee Lamb. Without CeeDee Lamb, they have no pulse. They have no energy. They have no heart. They have no soul. And Dak just seems like a different player without CeeDee Lamb, because CeeDee Lamb is a gravitational pull weapon. George Pickens is good, but they can shadow George Pickens. They can take George Pickens out of the game. Dallas's young offensive line is going to be exposed against Micah Parsons and this pass rush for the Packers. I think Dallas is really going to struggle to move the ball. And I feel like on the other side, this is just going to be Matt LaFleur magic. Matt LaFleur is going to have guys running wide open. They're going to be able to run the ball against Dallas. Their screens are going to work. Their RPOs are going to work. Jordan Love's going to be sitting back there baking a cake against this pass rush, throwing the ball 25-yard crossers as I smack my mic in excitement. Under a touchdown, this is free money. Give me the Packers. Free money. Dallas's defense is trash. They're awful. They're the worst defense in football, and they don't have their best player. This is Sunday Night Football. This is going to be like the playoff game we watched a couple of years ago. It's going to be like 40-24. That's what it's going to be. I'm just telling you right now. And then the final game in random order is the Philadelphia Eagles. I decided to add this late in because I wasn't going to do it, but if Mike Evans is out of this game, like, how does Tampa win this game? I know that it's in Tampa, and Tampa's matched up well with Philly in the past, and that might be why the line is so close. But, like, Philly actually discovered the forward pass last week, and Tampa's just really injured. Like, if Tampa was at full health, yeah, I'd consider betting on Tampa in this spot. But they're not. Like, they don't have Mike Evans. They don't have Chris Godwin. They don't have McMillan. They don't have Wirfs, unless he's back this week. I'm not sure. Their offensive line is completely beat up. Baker has to go superhuman to win this game. And the thing is, the Eagles are going to have that interior rush with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, just as they did against Matt Stafford. They don't have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams right now. All they have is Emeka Ibuka. I feel like Cooper DeJean can shadow him. Quinyon Mitchell, when he plays on the outside, can shadow him. You're dealing with like Sterling Shepard and Cade Otton. Like, those guys are 4s and 5s, not 2s and 3s. And the Philadelphia Eagles are like a really good defense still. Their linebackers are phenomenal. Their corners are still good. Like Fangio, you got to break that defense down. Like, I just don't see how the Bucs are going to win this game. I don't see it because there's no Mike Evans. He's going to be out. He has a hamstring injury. Defensively, you can still throw the ball down the field against the Bucs. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are healthy this year. They weren't healthy in that game last year. That's why they couldn't win that game, because you shut down Saquon Barkley. You shut down the Eagles. But even if they do now, you can throw the ball on the outside. You can get the passing game going. You can feature those perimeter matchups. And Tampa still has flaws in the pass defense department. So that's the final game. I would take the Eagles minus 3.5. Those are my early best bets for week number 4. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, Gronk spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It's Mitch. This is Money Mitch, and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck. Peace.